This program is brought to you by the Genesis Communications Network, a world leader in talk radio since 1998. Visit GCNlive.com today.
Broadcasting and streaming live all across America. This is Home Talk USA with Michael King, where we will discuss topics pertaining to your home with industry-leading experts. Michael King is a licensed general contractor with more than 30 years of experience in home improvements and the author of Contracting with the King. Join us this hour for our segment Invent America with your co-host, the inventor lady, Rita Crompton. Discover what's next in the home improvement industry and explore new products and innovations. Or if you have that next great big idea, learn what it takes to bring your invention to the world as Michael King and Rita Crompton talk to America's inventors and innovators. Remember, the America of tomorrow is being invented today. We invite you to visit us at HomeTalkUSA.com. One of the best resources for home improvement information around today. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like Home Talk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com. And now, we proudly present Invent America from the #1 home improvement radio program in the country, Home Talk USA, with your host, the Cajun contractor, Michael King, and his co-host, the inventor lady, Rita Crompton.
Yahoo! Welcome, America. That's right. This is Home Talk USA right here on the Genesis Communication Radio Network at GCNlive.com. We want to welcome all of you to the Invent America part of our family, where we talk to different inventors, entrepreneurs. We talk about the products of the future. And most importantly, we discuss a blueprint, a path that if you have a great idea out there, we decided to devote an hour to you because we're trying to get these products to market. That's what makes America. That's what makes us, separates us from third world countries where we invent. We don't, we don't counterfeit. We don't steal. And you know what I'm talking about. Intellectual property. We are the originators. And you heard that's the theme of our show. I am the originator, not the duplicator. Please don't accept no substitutions. But that's what we do here each week and every week. And I can't do this alone. My sidekick, the inventor lady herself, Miss Rita Crompton, she is part of this for many years, and it's been a great partnership to get her involved with all the I guess, Rita, I want to welcome you. I guess what I'm saying is I'm letting you do all the heavy lifting. You know what I mean? That's a nice way of saying you're going to do all the heavy lifting because I'm getting old. I'm getting old.
And I understand. It's funny though because it's like our inventors out there are the ones that are doing the heavy lifting, and we are grateful to everyone who's been on the show in the last year. And they're the ones that we're trying to help with that struggle of doing the right steps. And so that, our focus today is on those early steps. And we kind of jump around and we talk about this and about marketing and about manufacturing and all that kind of stuff. But today I figured it's time to go back to the beginning and talk about, some of those early mistakes that can be so costly.
Yep. Well, I don't know if I told you, but we figured out our, we got the big countdown. This is episode 1057. It's going to be January 24th. It's going to be the big countdown day. And it's also a milestone on this network, the Genesis Communication Radio Network, because we're going to be celebrating 20 years on this network. I started on the Business Talk Lifestyle Network before I did the Genesis Communication Radio Network. So, in between WSMB New Orleans, it's 26 years. But 20 years is going to be so it's kind of coordinated together, the 20th year and the longest show on January 24th, 2024. So that's our, and we're going to have a big time on that day. And we're hoping to get Mr. Ted Anderson on the line and the owner of GCN. I hope to have him as our guest and talk about the early days and radio. But I know I'm getting off track here. But hey, without Genesis and without radio, none of this is possible, to be honest with you.
Oh, that's for sure. And one of the things that I've learned, and you just, kind of paying attention now that we're doing this, is that I have so many people tell me, it's like, oh, I don't listen to the radio. I listen to the radio all the time. The radio audience is huge.
Yeah, it is, because you don't have to be behind your radio anymore to listen to it. The apps, the downloads, the podcasts, the rebroadcast, the on-demand, the archives. You can always, and Genesis does a great job. They do archive all our interviews. So you can go back 5, 6, 7 years, type in the date, and there's the interview. Of course, I hope people don't do that. It's the reason why is because, man, I was horrible in them days. I was not this well-oiled machine I am today. You know what I mean?
I do. And it's, we always look at the years that, you and I've known each other and been working together, and so many of your guests on Home Talk USA are business owners and inventors of their products. So it makes so much sense that we really reach out then in that middle hour to the inventors out there and say, okay, you've got an idea. This is what you do. This is where you go. This is what you're shooting for, because you've had 20 plus years now of working with inventors on Home Talk USA.
Yeah. And I miss a lot of people. Unfortunately, there is, a tremendous amount of people are no longer with us anymore that played a big part of our success on the air. And they'll miss very dearly, and we're going to acknowledge them on the 24th. All the sponsors we had, our guests that are no longer with us anymore, and they're always going to be in my mind. I'm never going to forget them, because I could tell you in the early days, I was begging for quarters. People didn't know who I was, and here's this crazy guy, and he. If you ever listen to my early days, I had a lot more energy than I have now, but I was all. Did a great job. And that's how I treat these inventors and these guests. And you treat them the way, because they are the technologies of the future. And we just don't want to stifle them. We want to you heard what I said? We want to give them a path. And that's all we're trying to do, right? Just give them a path.
That's exactly right. It's hard. Getting a product out of your head and into the marketplace, it's hard. And it's expensive. And the last thing an inventor needs is to make a mistake that we could have helped them avoid. And that's our big thing is here are the steps. And when somebody says, well, I thought this company would do it all, there really is no such thing as a company that will do it all. No. Because you are making decisions based on what you learned at the last step. And so every phase is a business decision. And inventors they get so wrapped up sometimes in the positive and excitement, they forget to be businesslike. And, I'll tell somebody, and they say, well, I've got this idea. What do I do with, can I sell my idea? It's like, ideas are like belly buttons. Everybody's got one, and it really doesn't matter how cute yours is. I cannot sell it. And so they kind of chuckle, but then they kind of realize it's like there's things that have to be done to tee it up correctly to give us the best chance of getting into the marketplace.
Yep, that's right.
That's what we really try to do is show them the path, help them, understand advantages and disadvantages, and then make the proper choices based on them and their product.
We have a great show lined up. Yeah, we have a great show lined up. So let's just take a short break. There's the music that tells us we got to pay some bills. But we're going to take a short break. We sure hope you stay with us here on the Genesis Communication Radio Network at GCNlive.com. That's where we stream each week and every week. If you tune in to 4 o'clock Central Time each Saturday, that's when you can catch the Invent America part of the Home Talk USA Radio Network, Invent America. But don't forget, that is GCNlive.com. All right, we're going to come back with our guests. We're going to start the show just shortly right here on the Home Improvement Broadcasting Network. Don't forget, always support your local dependent hardware stores and garden centers, and let's pledge to hire a vet today. I'm the Cajun Man alone with my sidekick, the inventor lady herself, Rita Crompton. We're going to be right back. Yay!
Talk USA with Michael King. Do you have questions about your next home improvement project or home repairs? Now you can chat with verified home repair and home improvement experts in just minutes. Get the help you need by visiting HomeTalkUSA.com. One of the best resources for home improvement information around today. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like Home Talk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com. And now, back to Invent America from the #1 home improvement radio program in the country. Home Talk USA with your host, the Cajun contractor Michael King, and his co-host, the Inventor Lady, Rita Crompton.
Hello, everybody. Thanks so much for being with us for this next segment. And I want to invite all of the inventors out there and all of the American consumers who buy the products that our inventors invent to stick with us through the rest of the hour and learn about these early steps. And if you know somebody out there who's working on a project, have them get in touch. We have got wonderful service providers. I want to point them in the direction of Scott Tarsi for early stage prototypes, CAD design. Kicker Design is one of our early stage manufacturers. So we've got some really good guys out there who help you get from that I have an idea to the marketplace. And today we're talking about the first step that you pay for, that early search that gets done. And our guest is David Klapatch. He comes from a big family of inventors, from his father doing the first hamburger press, two brothers, electrical and mechanical engineers. Inventing is in David's blood, in his family's blood, and he's got multiple inventions to his name as well. But the one he's working on right now is the Lube Toss. And David, thank you so much for being with us today.
Oh, thanks for having me on.
So tell us about the Lube Toss.
Lube Toss it's a lubrication applicator for chains and cables. I started out with the idea. I'm a big biker, just bought an electric bike, and lubricating the chain is a big issue, especially on electric bikes. And if anybody is out there lubing their chain, you know how messy it can get. It's the traditional method is you add a drop to each link on the chain, and make sure you got plenty of rags around and clean up the mess and everything afterwards. Plus, it doesn't really get to where it needs to go. So I invented a lubrication tool that wraps around the chain, and this also works for cables for tow truck companies and any type of wire rope in the commercial industry. And it basically wraps around the chain or the cable, and it lubricates it 360 degrees all around without any dripping or spilling, and it squeezes the lubrication right into on the chain. It squeezes it right into the roller, I'll call them joints, but there's roller pins, and that's the part that needs to get lubricated. It squeezes the lube in there, and on the cables, it actually helps squeeze the lubricant into the cables to get it deeper into the cable than you would if you were to just spray it on. So,
well, I know just enough about this and what you're talking about to know about the mess it makes. Been seeing that since I was a little girl watching my father do it with different pieces of tool equipment. But you started out and you did the things, what we like to say, the right way. You did your own looking. You came up with the idea. You kind of did your own looking around. You came up with your own version of a prototype, played around with it, and then you did the comprehensive search. What did you learn from the search process?
Well, I'll tell you, first of all, I'm glad I bumped into you, and I think it was your podcast that I actually heard about you, and so it made me start thinking about the comprehensive search. I'm a pretty good searcher. I did a really good job of searching, but then I found that I really wasn't getting anything outside the United States. And I didn't have that confidence that it was everything that I needed to know about the search, about my product. And I equate the search to the foundation on a house. And, if you're going to be spending all that money on a patent and everything afterwards, it's all based on the search. So I ended up having the professional search done, and I was glad I did. I didn't come up with any exact products like mine, which is good. And that gave me the confidence to go ahead and spend the money on the provisional patent and now shortly on the non-provisional patent. So I feel confident that it was done right and that hopefully I don't need to worry about anything.
Well, and that's where we always start. You can't, ideas, they're out there, but it's amazing how often we find something that gives the inventor some indigestion. It doesn't mean that you're not going to be able to file something, but learning sooner rather than later what's out there is critical for success. And so since you've done this now and you have been out there in the marketplace, I've been really impressed with the different outreach that you've done. So you've learned that not only is it bikes, but probably a bigger market for motorcycles, but even for some of the big equipment now, you've got a potential market.
There's actually the market keeps growing every time I start doing more and more research. In the chain market, you've got the bikes, the motorcycles, and I'm finding that conveyor belts, farm equipment, forklifts, all of those chains. Everybody uses the old-fashioned spray it on and let it go everywhere mess type thing, and that's how they lubricate them today. So. And then in the cable market, I could do anything from, small cables to the tow truck cables to, even 1-inch wire rope cables that they use on the heavy-duty tow trucks. It seems like it just keeps growing. Anything that fits in my tool actually adapts to the size of the chain or the cable, to a certain extent. So that's helped out a lot in that squeezing the lubricant into the cables and chains.
Well, I'm really proud of you. I enjoy working with you, and we're looking forward to being able to get this product licensed because I think it is one of the game changers out there that is going to make a huge difference in multiple industries. And it's one is going to keep garage floors a lot cleaner and, certainly make the job more, I don't want to say intense, but more comprehensive in what gets done. Because like you said, when you just do it by hand, it doesn't go in all the places it's supposed to go.
All right. I don't know if you remember. Do you remember? And most of the audience probably doesn't remember the liquid shoe polish when it first came out. There was a sponge on the end of a wire that was attached to the cap, and that's how you did your shoes. You pulled it out, and the shoe polish went all over the place and dripped everywhere. And then somebody invented that dispenser, the tip for the shoe polish. So that's the way I equate mine to. The tip, similar to the tip of the shoe polish dispenser.
Excellent. All right, everybody. Thank you, Dave, so much. Stick with us. We've got another part coming up here in just a couple of minutes. And if you need some help with any phase of the inventing process, join us at the Inventor Roundtable meetings. They're free, or give me a call. Stick with us now as we go and pay some bills. And a big thank you to our Genesis Communication Network home. We can't do it without them.